SVG-TV News for Monday, February 17, 2025. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan, a government lawyer involved in the vaccine mandate case, expressed his satisfaction with the recent judgment by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court of Appeal, which went in favor of the government. On the radio on Sunday, the senior lawyer explained that they presented a strong argument supporting the government's COVID-19 vaccine mandate.
Both of the majority judgments were absolutely clear that in the light of the uncontradicted evidence of the chief medical officer and the absence of expert evidence, the previous and the prior protocols were not as effective as the chief medical officer would have liked. And she consistently mentioned in her affidavit her references and discussions with Pao and CAFTA and others and so on. So she made the decision to make the recommendation. And the minister put in place Regulation 8 to ensure compliance. As the High Court judge accepted and Justice Webster accepted, they elected not to take the vaccine. They elected not to take the vaccine, and I just want to repeat that again. They elected not to take the vaccine. They could have taken the vaccine. They did not. They did not accept the invitation of the Prime Minister to return to work. They did not accept the fact that they had an absolute right to approach the Public Service Commission to have this deemed abandoned, declared otherwise. There was a number of options open to them, all of which they turned down.
Referring to the term abandoned, which was used in the case to describe workers who did not take the vaccine, Senior Counsel Astafan clarified that the workers who refused the vaccine were deemed to have abandoned their jobs. This interpretation was upheld by the appeal court, which found the use of the word abandoned to be consistent with the legal context.
We relied on a Privy Council case that suggested that abandonment is not merely the voluntary refusal to turn up to work, but it could include the refusal to comply with the terms and conditions of employment. In the Court of Appeal, it was argued, and the Court of Appeal agreed that they have abandoned their positions because they refused to comply with the terms and conditions of the work which were necessarily inserted into the law for the purposes of protecting the frontline workers and the public interest from the severity of the COVID crisis that the country was facing. So the Court of Appeal, in fact, held, the majority of the Court of Appeal, in fact, held that the result was one: they've abandoned the job because they voluntarily refused to do certain things which by law they were required to do. So we argued it a little broader than that before the High Court judge and the Court of Appeal. But we are comfortable with the Court of Appeal's interpretation of abandonment because it reflects part of what we submitted to the court.
The unions have stated that more than 200 workers were affected by the mandate as they choose not to take the vaccine. Some of these workers have since returned to their positions. The unions are still deliberating on whether to pursue the case further, potentially taking it to the Privy Council for review. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has once again called for the workers who were affected by the mandate to return to their jobs. He emphasized that they will be offered their full benefits upon their return. The unions are expected to hold a news conference on Wednesday morning on their position moving forward. This is more than a landmark, said Josette Graves, Chief Executive Officer of the Argyle International Airport, during her address at the airport's 8th anniversary celebration on Friday, February 14, 2025. The event included the unveiling of a new sign for the airport, marking another milestone in its development. Graves noted that it has become a tradition each year to unveil something new as a symbol of progress and to demonstrate how far the airport has come since its opening.
Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. In 2018, we unveiled the stunning chandelier in the check-in area, which has become a favorite spot for photos. In 2019, we introduced the electric vehicle charging station. 2020, we honored our dedicated staff with a dinner and award ceremony. 2021 and 2022, let's just say we all got a celebration timeout thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2023, we had a simple but meaningful celebration as we bounced back. 2024, we unveiled the portraits of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Governor General, now proudly displayed in the departures area. And today, we continue this tradition by unveiling a monument at the entrance to our airport, a statement of where we are and how far we've come. This monument is more than just a landmark. It represents our resilience, progress, and unwavering commitment to the future.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who also addressed the event, shared that the completion and operation of the AIA have led to a significant increase in hotel investments totaling $1.5 billion.
But this airport has already brought directly in hotel investments a number close to $1.5 billion. Sandals alone is nearly 700 million. Then Holiday Inn, Maya Suites, extension of hotels like Alexandrina, Beachcombers, a whole set of apartment buildings, other guest houses, and then ancillary investments as a result. And the entertainers to go into those things. The fishermen making the money, the farmers making money. This alone, you have nearly 450 workers here.
Despite facing challenges in the first 3 years of operation, Prime Minister Gonsalves expressed that the airport has proven to be a successful project. He praised the airport's resilience and its positive impact on the country's infrastructure and economic growth.
Let me tell you something. When we started, I went to Parliament and told the Parliament honestly, I said, we're not going to make money first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Because it can take some while for it to roll out. So we capitalized the operation to give it the subvention to help it go in. We couldn't predict that tree. Wamigo hit us one time, boom, boom, boom. Liat fall down. Liat used to bring 40 flights a week, you know. A lot of regional people then, and the connection out of Barbados and St. Lucia with the tourists who are coming. Then there was COVID, and then there's the volcanic eruptions. In particular months during that period, as small a number as 2,000 persons came through this airport, you know. The place was like a ghost town. But we never on one single occasion lay off one single worker.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister announced plans for the expansion of the Argyle International Airport.
I've taken the decision to look at our Mexican brother, Professor Federico, who had done an overall plan, a master plan for expansion, because we had always envisaged that we would require expansion, and we have enough space to do expansion. And we are going to get someone to look at this master plan and to make it up to date.
Dr. Gonsalves highlighted that there have been significant developments since the airport began operations in 2017. He emphasized that a key priority for the government moving forward is to ensure that workers at the airport are comfortable in their work environment, noting the importance of supporting those who contribute to the smooth operation of the facility.
And I wanted to say to the employees that we have a lot of human resource issues addressing. Training, very, very important. We have to be dealing with a pension plan for you and a health plan. because we want you to be very happy here. We have almost 450 workers here at Argyle International Airport. Because of the increased number of flights last year, we have had to employ about 100 persons more. So there's been tremendous development.
The Prime Minister further indicated that the airport's expansion plans would help to accommodate growing passenger traffic and support the country's broader tourism and economic development plans. Grenville Williams, the country's Attorney General, has been selected as the Unity Labour Party's candidate for South Leeward in the upcoming general elections. Williams was chosen on Saturday at the ULP South Leeward Conference, which was held in Vermont. Williams will face off against the New Democratic Party's Nigel Stevenson, who will be seeking a fourth consecutive term in office. While appearing on a radio program on Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves was asked about Williams' selection as the ULP's candidate, given that he is still serving as the Attorney General. This question was raised in light of concerns previously expressed by Gonsalves regarding the NDP selection of West Indies cricket president Kishore Shallow as a candidate to contest the general elections for North Leeward.
Shouldn't we also have a problem with the Attorney General in a professional capacity also being announced as a candidate?
No. The Attorney General can be announced as a candidate. We have passed a law. The difference between the Attorney General and Kashaka Cupid being announced as a candidate for the NDP. We have a law which we have put in place, which in due course they will have Pigeon as public servants. They'll be able to get leave and do their campaigning. Remember, we passed that law.
Prime Minister Gonsalves addressed these concerns by clarifying the difference between Shallow's candidacy and Williams. The Prime Minister explained that while Shallow holds the position of President of West Indies Cricket, Williams does not hold a comparable position in any major national body.
Canvassing
No, that's perfectly in order. There's nothing wrong with that. The difference with West Indies cricket is this. West Indies cricket is unifying across the region. I put the Cricket West Indies president in that regard in a unifying position, like the Secretary General of CARICOM or the OECS Director General or the President of the CDB or the Vice Chancellor of the University. These are unifying institutions among disparate islands. And the suspicion would always arise that such a person will act in a manner which would be disuniting. And that is where the suspicion has arisen in relation to Cricket West Indies not allocating games, having given the assurance for the Australia T20 tournament against West Indies. No games have been assigned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Williams had previously made himself available to represent South Leeward for the ULP in 2014. However, he chose to step aside and allow Jomo Thomas to contest the general elections instead. Williams was later sworn in as Attorney General in November 2022, a position he continues to hold. We hear that Chief Executive Officer of the Medical Cannabis Authority, Dr. Gerald Thompson, recently discussed the government's approach to establishing the country's medical cannabis industry. Speaking on the Cop Chat program on WFM, Dr. Thompson highlighted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines took a middle-ground approach when it passed legislation in December 2018 to create a regulated medical cannabis sector. Dr. Thompson further stated that he believes many English-speaking Caribbean nations will follow suit in the near future, with several countries expected to attempt to establish their own medical cannabis industry.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is one of those islands that have taken that middle ground. And by the end of 2025, can I surprise you? Almost every English-speaking island in the Caribbean would have legalized medicinal cannabis. Jamaica, Antigua, Barbados, St. Kitts, St. Lucia has already legalized. Belize has already legalized, but they're not an island. Trinidad has decriminalized, and within the next few months, Grenada and Dominica would have completed the process to legalize, not leaving any country out. Suriname has also legalized. The only country that may not have gone through this is Guyana. So 90-something% of the islands would have legalized for medicinal cannabis, none of which for recreational cannabis. And this is the middle ground. And St. Vincent, I would say, is considered as being at the forefront of this process.
One of the key benefits of medicinal cannabis, according to Dr. Thompson, is its potential to assist individuals suffering from sleep disorders, including insomnia. He emphasized that cannabis is increasingly being recognized worldwide for its therapeutic properties.
And we use a mnemonic. People don't like me to do it, called AMP Minds, and AMPMINDS. A stands for appetite. People who have anorexia, can't eat, who losing weight. Cannabis is one of those things that can stimulate that appetite. If you then metabolism, if you have bad nausea, they can use cannabis to suppress the nausea and the vomiting. And then pain. P is for pain. There are many different types of pain. Arthritis pain, sickle cell pain, lots of people. And guess what? Cannabis is an excellent drug in use of pain.
Dr. Thompson also addressed concerns regarding the use of medicinal cannabis by individuals who are not following the proper licensing procedures. He stressed that there are multiple regulations in place to govern the medical cannabis industry and that individuals must obtain a license to legally cultivate, distribute, or use medicinal cannabis in SVG. He said the MCA is working diligently to ensure that all stakeholders comply with the legal and regulatory framework to safeguard both the industry's integrity and public safety.
That there are going to be some persons that may not necessarily have gone through the medical route, and they may possess a small amount of cannabis, and the law permits them to possess up to 56 grams in their homes, in their place of worship. They could use it, but they must be sure not to use and smoke or utilize cannabis near a school, near someone else's church that don't necessarily want to say that. I say somebody could use it in a synagogue, but we're talking about certain denominations would do that. But in terms of others, they may not necessarily want it around them, and that is prohibited. And we don't really want to see it on playing fields and so forth. So those are restricted. But you are allowed up to a certain amount. But don't go in front of the barracks in Kingstown and say you're gonna smoke. And don't go in front of the barracks in Chatterville or Barreley and say you're gonna smoke. Or in front of a policeman and say in public and say you're gonna smoke. That's not right.
Meanwhile, cultivators in North Leeward are being invited to attend a critical consultation meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, February 18, 2025 at 5 p.m. at the Chatterville Primary School. This meeting is part of a national effort to provide support resources and guidance to local cultivators as part of the government's ongoing commitment to enhancing the agriculture sector. An announcement by the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture said that representatives from the Farmer Support Company, the Zero Hunger Trust Fund, and the Medicinal Cannabis Authority will be present at the meeting to discuss key opportunities available to local cultivators, including funding options and technical assistance. During the meeting, cultivators will have the opportunity to apply for medicinal cannabis license, collect renewed licenses, apply for medicinal cannabis employee ID card, and register for further assistance. The event is also expected to provide a platform for cultivators to raise any concerns, learn about available programs, and access essential services that can help grow and sustain their businesses in the medical cannabis sector. The ministry encourages all local cultivators to attend this important consultation as part of efforts to ensure that SVG's medicinal cannabis industry remains competitive, sustainable, and beneficial to the larger community. In other local news now, we hear that the Sustainable Development Unit, in collaboration with local volunteers, successfully removed 18 bags of garbage from the Diamond Beach on Friday as part of their ongoing environmental efforts. This cleanup forms a key component of St. Vincent and Grenadines Coastal and Marine Ecosystems Management Strengthening Project, which is supported by the Chef 7 project. Project coordinator Abina White noted that this cleanup marks the second coastal cleanup event of the year, with the first having taken place in Stubbs, with White emphasized the importance of these cleanup initiatives, which serves as a precursor to further environmental activities, including the planting of coastal vegetation to help restore and protect local ecosystems.
So the type of activity that we are hoping to plant at Diamond Beach will include vegetation such as sea grapes, sea palms, sea lettuce. Also, we are looking to do palms and coconut plants. So it's a variety of different type of vegetation that we are hoping to plant at this site to help with strengthening the coastal integrity of this beach, which would aid in it serve as coastal defense when we have natural disasters and things like that.
The government of St. Vincent and Grenadines is also actively implementing a World Bank-supported coastal and marine ecosystem management project. This project is focused on enhancing the resilience of local coastal and marine ecosystems while protecting vital habitats for species that are critical to global biodiversity. One key focus of the project is the conservation of species such as sea turtles, which are increasingly threatened by habitat loss and pollution. Through this initiative, the government aims to improve the quality of coastal habitats and provide ecosystem services that will support the long-term survival of these endangered species. The Ministry of Culture, in collaboration with the Garifuna Heritage Foundation and the Ministry of Education, will host the 10th edition of the National Schools Garifuna Folk Festival, an exhibition on March 7th, 2025. Glidonna Peters, team leader for the festival at the Department of Culture, shared that a day of activities is planned for the children, with the event being held under the team, Children of Chateaubriand Fruits of Our Heritage. Peters emphasized the importance of involving students in Garifuna cultural activities at the national level.
The Department of Culture is thrilled to collaborate with the Garifuna Heritage Foundation and the Ministry of Education in executing this festival. Our Garifuna heritage defines us as a people. With this rich culture, patrimony, we can help to keep our heritage alive and relevant by sharing, safeguarding, demonstrating, and practice the skills it entails. Our Garifuna cultural heritage is one of the unique treasures of our blessed homeland, Urime, one in which we can harness the treasure. It's through the creative arts. We can also learn the history of these treasures through music, song, dance, poetry, and the choral speech. We can further learn the history of these treasures through the display of exhibitions, such as artifacts, traditional dishes, and oral presentations, just to name a few.
Peters further stated that both primary and secondary schools will have the opportunity to showcase their talents and skills in various areas, including the exhibition.
This year's festival will commence at 8:30 a.m. with a march from the Victoria Park through Pearls Avenue and later return to the Victoria Park. Here, students would be able to display their creative skills through the use of Garifuna colors. Yellow, which represents the Amerindians, black, the Africans, and white, a symbol of peace. They will also recite meaningful chants as they parade the streets. At the culmination of the parade, there would be a presentation of a cultural package by both primary and secondary schools.
For the past 10 years, hundreds of students have participated in the National Schools Garifuna Folk Festival, which has now become a key event on the Ministry of Education's calendar. The festival continues to grow in popularity, drawing attention to the importance of celebrating Garifuna culture and ensuring its legacy is passed on to future generations.